from where we sit, these are the technologies we're seeing financial institutions try to leverage on. So there's a slide that I'll show the next slide. So there's an innovation survey that we do annually, just to get to have an understanding of what banks, microfinance banks, and financial institutions are doing with regards to innovation and technology. So I'll start with virtual assets because it was mentioned in the previous presentation. As we are all aware, previously the stance of the country, or CBK stance, with regards to cryptos. So virtual assets are cryptos, virtual asset service providers are the providers of these virtual assets. So previously the stance was cryptocurrency is neither fiat currency, neither is it regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. But resulting from the mutual evaluation that the country underwent in 2023. So ISAPLAG and FATIF gave a recommendation. So currently, Kenya is grey-listed. And one of the reasons was this, because we've not taken a policy stance to either ban or regulate. The recommendation that was given is Kenya needs to decide whether we are allowing cryptos or ban completely. So take a legal stance in our regulation and say cryptos are not allowed. So there was a task force that was formed, chaired by the National Treasury, having financial sector regulators, CBK, KRA, FRC, CMA. So a decision was made that VAS and virtual assets will be regulated within the country. So there's a policy paper that was done by the National Treasury, and there's also a draft bill. It's public document, so it's been in circulation. So the two regulatory entities that have been tasked with regulating them is CMA and CBK. So there are aspects to do with CMA, what they do, and most of these other aspects will be taken care of by CBK. So this is something that for sure we are now clear on. This is something that is coming. So the bill, once it's finalized, I think it's in Parliament. It has undergone public participation. It's currently undergoing consideration at Parliament. This is something SACCOs would expect to see once this bill comes out, something you expect to see. Firstly, tied to it is the central bank digital currencies. So this one we did, resulting from cryptocurrencies, central banks responded by trying to come up with a central bank digital currency to just ensure citizens are well taken care of. So, because cryptocurrencies are quite volatile, so the central bank digital currency would be pegged on the fiat currency. So if it's Kenya, it would be pegged against the Kenya shilling, just to ensure that volatility is taken care of. But again, this one, Kenya, there was a research done on it, and for that one, the country, CBK says in the short to medium term, it's not a priority, and the current hiccups we have in the payments industry can be handled by investing in the existing infrastructure. So this one is on hold, and even if you look globally, countries that were really speaking about CBDCs, the allure has really gone down. So it's no longer really being talked about as much as it was previously being talked about. The third one I'll pick is on digital identity. This one we see financial institutions really try to leverage on digital IDs to then better provide services to their customers. Currently, I think it's Maisha. So it's a project. So it's now this one is dependent on now the government, because initially it was Luma number, now it's Maisha number, but it hasn't been rolled out fully. So that's something that we see come out quite clear. So India is a very good example with regards to digital identity. They've really transformed the financial ecosystem by leveraging on the digital identity. The fourth one would be on open finance. This one is currently being looked at from a policy perspective. So what it's all about is coming up with a framework where financial institutions can be able to share data with non-financial institutions just to better provide services with their customers. So banks X would be able, because currently financial institutions only share credit-related data. So positive or negative. But right now you'll be able to share details on your customers' insurance, their payments, what payments they're making. So Bank Y or Sacco Y would be able to benefit from data gained from Bank A to then provide better services. So this then creates a lot of competition. So the issue with this, the backlash that regulators are getting with this is the big boys are saying they've invested so much to get this data, then some other people would then benefit from this data that they have. But it's a framework we're looking into and how to handle the legal and other considerations. The fifth one would be on cloud computing. So institutions are leveraging largely on cloud, just basically to address the issues on scalability and reducing costs. But the caveat we have with regards to cloud is for core banking systems. Core banking systems, we still insist on, I don't know, it is a regulator, it is something, I don't know, it's a regulator mindset where we're saying where customer information is involved, we need that data sitting on-prem. So all other applications host, but where transactions and customers, data is involved, we need the data sitting on-prem, but we are coming up with guidance on how third parties and third party technology service providers, including cloud, can be adopted by financial institutions. So that will address this issue of core banking and all that. It's because currently why we're taking that stance is because there's no clear guidance from the regulator on how institutions should go about this issue to do with cloud. This one, institutions are really leveraging on cloud to then better the services issues to do with scalability and cost. The next one is RegTech and SupTech. So regulatory technology and supervisory technology. So RegTech help regulators comply. SupTech help regulators to look over the regulators. Yeah, simply said. So for Central Bank, we have a project called, probably you've heard about it, it's called EDW, GTI, where financial institutions share information real time. So it's a project, it's still ongoing, so it's still at the pilot stage. Currently they use an application called BSA, Bank Supervision Application, where they're able to do their monthly, quarterly returns. So we're able to then supervise them on a near real-time basis. So this one we leverage on APIs. So that's an aspect. So there's also mobile financial services. Everybody here knows about the M-Pesa story. And also, very recently, we also have this aspect on digital lending. So digital lending has been embraced by SACCOs, banks, microfinance banks, and very recently, the DCPs, following the regulation that was passed, giving CBK the authority to then regulate digital credit providers, resulting from market conduct issues that are being noted. Then the last one is on AI and machine learning that we'll be focusing on as we proceed the presentation. So this is just a pictorial on, so this one is from the innovation survey that is conducted every year. by CBK. This one was published in April 2025. So if you look at AI, so this is AI at 75% high likelihood of institutions going towards AI. So AI is at 75. You see the leading innovation. So there's big data and data analytics. So data also plays a big role with regards to AI and machine learning, because an AI model needs data for it to be able to then do whatever you want it to do. So there's big data, there's application programming interfaces, there's cloud computing. You can see digital identity over there, open banking, biometrics, AI, and machine learning. So you can see institutions are really interested with that space. The next slide is on, so this is basically on the goals and objectives of financial institutions adopting emerging technologies. So this is now the general, not AI. So we'll have a session where we then now speak to AI itself. So on emerging technologies, there's an aspect of enhancing accessibility and convenience. When you're able to access services from a mobile device, inclusion is enhanced, boosting operational efficiency and transparency, personalized services arising from data, being able to analyze the data you have, to then segment your customers and tweak your products and services to better fit the different segments of customers that you have, and also safeguarding members' trust through secure systems. So investing in cybersecurity, fraud detection tools, just giving your customers or members that trust. Because for the financial ecosystem, trust is a key element for it to stay stable and sound. So this slide just shows the impact with regards to inclusion of the adoption of financial institutions adopting technology. So this is now the impact that adoption of the key one being mobile money on financial inclusion. Also, again, from the innovation survey, you're seeing cyber risk standing at 89%, operational following, and also now compliance risk. So you'll notice when we'll be talking about AI specifically, you'll notice some of the challenges AI comes with. There's an issue of compliance risk. You don't know whether implementing it will then clash with the existing regulatory ecosystem that you have in place. But these are just some of the top 3 risks that innovation comes with. So there's cyber, operational, and also third parties. So third parties come here majorly because as you innovate, you partner with these fintechs to then better provide your services. So you really have to think about how you're handling that risk even as you innovate. You can feel free to stop me at any time so that if you have a question again, always stop me at any point. So on to AI. Just to get a definition of what AI is, basically field of computer science that focuses on building machines capable of performing tasks that normally require human intelligence. So basically a computer or a machine being able to do a role that originally would be expected to be done by a human being. So computers doing functions meant to be done by human beings. Learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. So I just have a diagram here, just depicting some of the day-to-day experiences with AI. So we have virtual assistants, and Now most of us use Siri or Google Assistant. You've experienced that, or you say, hey Siri, it's able to open for you an application. So virtual assistants, so digital assistants, this one is voice recognition, being an example. Recommendation systems, a good example would be, so you've been shopping on, say, maybe the Uber app. So the moment you log in, there are suggestions that come. You've not yet decided what you want to buy, but already, based on previous your trends, it's already giving you suggestions. Or if you log into YouTube right now, the first page would be based on, somebody would easily tell the kind of content you watch by just logging into your YouTube account and just see, okay, these are the things, these are the nature of things that so and so watches. So smart homes, we've seen self-driving cars, Tesla, health monitoring. Nowadays, most of us have these watches that we put on that count steps. So you've done 10,000 steps, your heartbeat is at 70, 72. So that and fitness trackers, so you're able to then track the fitness. So this is just to give us just that understanding of AI and get to appreciate how we interact with it on a day-to-day basis. I haven't talked about ChatGPT there yet. So you can clearly see, apart from ChatGPT and all these other tools, there are many other interactions we have with AI, knowingly or unknowingly. So this one I'll just give a high level overview. So in terms of categorization of AI, so AI can either be categorized based on its capability or its functionality. But these two categorizations have not yet been actualized. So the only, based on capability, only the narrow AI, bracket weak AI, such as Siri, Google, chatbots, have been achieved. So this is AI designed to perform a task with no self-awareness or general intelligence. So the second one is still theoretical. So it hasn't really been actualized. So this is just probably a robot that is able to learn new skills based on the experiences it has gotten. So this is, in theory, this super intelligent AI is hypothetical. So this is just something people are thinking about, where an AI is able to self-improve, and solve problems better than humans. So this one is, currently we say this one is only seen in movies, and this one is hypothetical. This one is theoretical. People are trying to see how to, so there are prototypes done, but it hasn't really been perfected yet. So currently, narrow AI, based on capability. In terms of functionality, so the first two, so reactive machines and limited memory. So reactive machines are like, so if you remember, back then when our computers used to have the chess playing functionalities or cards, so you could play cards with the machine. So it does it not based on previous memory, it's just playing it there and there, not based on what it has learned previously. So, and the second one is now based on past experience. So a car, self-driving car, would use a route, so based on its experience of that route, so there's a stop sign at this place, is where there's a yellow continuous, I need to turn left in 200 meters. So it's doing that based on previous, so the loaded data. Third one, you're in mind, still in research. Now this is where AI understands your emotions and beliefs and intentions. That one is still in research. The fourth one is where an AI is self-conscious. It's almost like a human being. So, that one is hypothetical. Also, we still only see that in movies. So, the next slide is on AI. So, as institutions seek to implement AI in their operations, these are some of the ethical considerations that need to be made. The first one is on bias and discrimination. So basically, if an AI is trained on inherently biased data sets, then there's risk that they may amplify or perpetuate these biases during decision making. So there'll be a slide just trying to explain how these biases can be handled. So a good example would be on facial recognition. So if an AI has been trained to better detect light-skinned people, so for dark-skinned, you probably get more, true false positives. So you find the AI is more biased towards dark-skinned. So light-skinned people are very easily able to unlock their faults, but as a dark-skinned person, finding yourself really struggling. So that's bias. And also with regards to, a good example would be on gender. So say statistics has it, or the data has it, the data set you have has it that women pay their loans, chances of them paying loans is better than men. So when that algorithm runs, the chances of it denying you a man a loan and granting a lady is very high. But your credit data might be okay, but based on that data set that it has received, then that bias is might be seen come in play. The second one is on transparency and explainability. So at times it's difficult to explain why an AI model made a particular decision. So this is something that is a big challenge, but there's a slide that I'll explain on how these can be addressed. The next issue is on data protection and privacy. Remember, you're training this AI model with your customer's data. So how do you ensure your customer's data is protected? So that's a real concern, because I'm saying the data is often used to train AI systems, which raises concerns regarding how data is processed, especially given the fact that Kenya currently has a Data Protection Act in place, and we have the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner in place. It has been constituted, currently being led by Immaculate Kasait. So they have problems with institutions who can't ensure this is well taken care of. And also in terms of accountability. So once an AI model makes a decision, a credit decision, who owns it? So there needs to be that clear mechanism of who is going to be responsible if it is credit. And this model has done whatever it has done. It has denied credit to Maurice, or granted credit to Maurice, who is not a good borrower, or denied credit to Maurice, who is a good borrower. So who takes the responsibility? Is it the head of IT? Is it the head of credit? Is it the head of business? So who then takes this accountability? So those are the key ethical considerations that we've seen that people need to put in their mind, even as they think of embracing AI in their operations. The next one is just to get to understand AI life cycle. So it will begin with that's not clear. So design, data and models. So we talked about the data, the model. Okay, they're here. So planning and design, data collection and processing, and model building. So once the model is built, you do the verification, then validation on that data. Then you deploy your AI, then it's operationalized. So once you load your models, so there'll be an algorithm, there'll be a model, and there'll be data. So this AI, you train it using this data. Once you train it, then it will then give you some outputs based on the training you have provided it. So there's data, there's a model, there's an algorithm, which then now gives you this output based on now the training. So training is based on data. So the data aspect is actually very key, because your AI model will only give you an output based on the data that you've provided it with. So this is just for us to appreciate that life cycle. Yeah. So here are some of the applications of AI in now the financial institutions. So now say SACCOs. So there is credit, asset management, trading, this one is for banks, blockchain. So this section here is now more relevant. So you can see now reporting and records management. So where now data is loaded into a system, and you're able to get all these dashboards. So somebody doesn't have to run through an Excel and do formulas to then give you a report. So the data is fed into the model, and you're able to get all these reports and dashboards that you then need to make particular decisions within the institution. The other key item that institutions are really using AI for is on credit scoring. So many financial institutions, so banks, microfinance banks, digital credit providers, SACCOs, have this product on mobile loan. So the mobile loan, the model you have there, because somebody will apply for a loan, the app will collect some data, analyze and credit score you, and give you a loan instantly. So there is no human interaction, as opposed to the traditional method where somebody will fill in a form, a credit analyst then looks at the financial and all that. So credit scoring is a big one where it's being used. So there's also fraud and risk management, where there are AI tools which then assist with seeing patterns. So Maurice is used to doing transactions ranging from 10,000 to 20,000. Then all of a sudden he's doing a transaction of 50,000. What does it do? Flag it. So now the human element will come and then say, okay, this one is legitimate. We call the person, and they've been able to justify and tell us that this is a legitimate transaction and all that. So the next slides are going to break down all these aspects. So I think I'll just proceed to the next slide so that you then see the various aspects. So when I talk about AI for fraud detection, transaction screening, and monitoring. So AI, we talked about big data being used in fraud detection by financial institutions and fintech lenders, for client onboarding and KYC checks, anti-money laundering, and TF screening, at onboarding and ongoing customer due diligence stage. Yeah, so in particular, now this one is now where applies, this section is now where for SACCOs can help institutions recognize abnormal transactions and identify suspicious and potential fraudulent activities through the use of image recognition, softwares, risk models, and other AI-based techniques, e.g. fraudulent use of customers' personal information, misrepresenting products, and other scams. This one really applies for institutions that have digitized largely. So institutions where most of their services are offered through the digital channels, then embedding AI into their operations will then help them deter fraud, and also detect, monitor, and prevent fraud. The next one, we talked about credit scoring and loan underwriting. So this is a place where SACCOs can also really look into. So the advantages, aspect of reduced risk, where the tool is able to accurately assess credit worthiness, and also the aspect of automated approvals. The problem we have with this, so credit scoring and loan underwriting, so especially for digital credit providers, the DCPs. So DCPs don't have data. They don't have, as opposed to SACCOs, banks, MFBs, who have customers, they have some data on. DCPs don't have data apart from, so for the licensed ones, apart from the credit data from CRVs, they don't have any other data. So what they do, they then ask for permissions to read your messages. Then they see they want to read your contacts. They want to read the contents on your phone. So now the Data Protection Act then kicks in. So for DCPs, this is something they're really facing a challenge with, because when they're coming for licensing, we tell them, why do you need to read this person's messages without their consent? So they used to do that, but without consent. So they read your messages, and from that they're able to see what transactions you're making, from your M-Pesa, statements, and all that, without your consent. Sometimes your contacts, they're able to see what are the nature of contacts you have in your phone. But now that issues to do with data protection then limits them. But for institutions that traditionally have their customer data, this will help in efficiency and effectiveness with regards to credit scoring and loan underwriting. So the next one is personalized financial advice and services, where SACCOs are able to offer personalized products to their customers and members based on the data analytics done. So you're able to segment your members and provide products and services suited to those various segments. So the next one is on operational efficiency. I believe all of us have interacted with the chatbots, where for customer complaints, before you then call a call center to get an agent, you're able to probably log into a website which has a chatbot, and you're able to ask some questions, some predefined questions, and you're able to get answers. So if it's frequently asked questions, this chatbot is able to interact with you, give you solutions. So frees up the agent to then deal with some other matters, then improving efficiencies within the institution. We've talked about data-driven decision making. So this one doesn't just apply to financial institutions and SACCOs. Even CBK and other regulators, SASRA, it is imperative that decisions are made based on data. Data is analyzed, and this then informs the various decisions that are made. So next one is on digital transformation and inclusion, e-learning platforms, and also fintech partnerships. So e-learning platforms, where staff are now able to log into a platform from their desk and able to go through, if it's policies within the institution, they're able to go through these policies. They're able to, in fact, there's a bank that are currently implementing an AI solution geared for the bank itself. It's like ChatGPT, but for the bank, where you've uploaded documents, so if it's policies and scenarios. So ideally, if there was a question to be asked by a customer, but within that institution, So our staff would just get into that platform and ask, just the way you ask ChatGPT a question like, what is AI? You'd log in and say, how do I handle a customer query on XYZ? And it brings up, and it's hosted internally. So this data, so what people do with ChatGPT and all these other AI models, we find somebody would take data, Sacco data, upload it into ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT analyze for me. So now this customer data which is already now sitting somewhere, nobody knows where. But now when you have it in-house, it's within your premises, so this data that you're very sure hasn't left that premises. So this is something that could be looked into. So we've also just talked about customer segmentation and personalization in terms of giving customers services based on their various preferences. So this connects to now the data-driven decision making. So this again is from the innovation survey. So you can see for most institutions where AI is mostly used is on credit risk assessment. So credit risk followed by cybersecurity. So the tools that they have to monitor the environment and fraud. The next one is on customer service, the chatbots we've just spoken about, and also KYC, where you're able to onboard members or customers digitally, so they don't have to really visit the branch for you to then onboard them into your ecosystem. So this is just a snapshot for us to then get to appreciate how the financial sector is embracing AI. What are some of the areas where they're really using AI for? So credit risk assessment is the top item. Now on to impact. So the other one was on impact of general technology and innovation. Now this one is impact of AI particularly. So there's the issue of operational efficiency leading to faster credit assessment, automation of repetitive and manual tasks, such as minutes taking. I believe you've all interacted with Microsoft Teams, where you have a meeting and you tell the AI tool to 2 minutes for you, and just get an output, and so that's handled like that. Improved cybersecurity, better customer service, so we talked about chatbots, improved accuracy of credit risk assessments, thereby reducing NPLs, and also resource optimization. So services that can be automated are automated, and staff are then focused towards doing other deliverables. The risks and challenges in adoption of AI. So as you can see, the two top risks: shortage of skills and high costs or limited resources, followed by governance and data regulatory compliance. We talked about data and AI models having to use data to then come up with decisions. So there's also an issue of data quality. So before you adopt it, you really have to ensure you've done data sanity checks within your institution, done data cleanups, so that when this data is then used to make certain decisions, it is not biased. The aspect of bias is then well taken care of.
The argument is that at least update a copy of the data remains in country, and then you can have your copy on the cloud. So as far you have a copy of your data in country, then that standard is okay.
Yeah, and the last one being managing third-party risk. Okay, so this one I think is also just a continuation. So the previous one was challenges, the next one is risks. So as you can see, the highest risk is on data quality, followed again by limited number of AI skilled staff. The third one being cybersecurity risks, third-party risks, AI governance risk, and so we talked about explainability, the model bias, and ethical dilemmas that AI comes with. So the next few slides will try to explain how some of these risks can be mitigated. So the big ones being bias and explainability and transparency. So how do we mitigate bias? Excluding sensitive attributes such as gender, race, and age from models. The second one is the use of data sets that reflect diversity of the target population to prevent underrepresentation or overrepresentation of specific groups. Third one is on regular audits and also the aspect of human in the loop approach where high-stake decisions are involved. So an AI will propose a decision, but not to finality. So there has to be a human within that loop to then look at, okay, what this AI is proposing, is it okay? So the human will then have the final say with regards to what the AI has proposed. To ensure fairness is addressed. So internal policies and procedures, and also the aspect of training staff on AI practices and involving diverse teams in AI model development, just to ensure the issue of bias is well taken care of. So as you constitute the team, ensure it's diverse so that the rules that are put in place really reflect the various representations of members that you have within the Sacco. The next one is on explainability and transparency. So we've talked about human in the loop mechanism. So where an AI will come up with a proposal or a decision, then somebody, a human being, has to really look at this output before it goes out there, just to ensure the output exceptions are well handled. So look at the decision. If it's biased, the human is able to nullify it or override it. Yeah. So also the aspect of documentation of your model, integrating business rules and expertise in model development. So we talked about having diversity as you come up with these models, and clear customer communication and transparency. This one is lacking a lot. Both banks, microfinance banks, I think even SACCOs, all our financial institutions, clear customer communication and transparency on use of AI. Financial institutions never tell you that we've used AI to credit score you. And this is the criteria that was used to give you a loan limit of 15,000. They will just give you the limit. So the customers, most customers would never know this is an AI that has really given me this score. So this one is missing, and I think it's something that really needs to be looked into. The last aspect is now, how do you address auditability? So before we talked about documentation, because you should be able to audit, explain the AI decision, you should be able to also audit. How did this AI come up with these XYZ decisions? So having a comprehensive documentation, leveraging on explainability tools, the aspect of human in the loop. You're seeing human in the loop, so AI is not taking out the human elements. You've seen in all those instances, human in the loop is coming in as a solution to then take care of these biases that AI is having. So audit trails and logging will be well captured. So, and also ongoing model, monitoring, drift detection, internal controls, governance frameworks, policies and procedures put in place with regards to AI. So this slide, so CBK recently, so this is just for us to appreciate at least from these other sides, so banks and microfinance banks, what is happening. So CBK did a survey because one of the strategic initiatives or objectives that we have is to issue a guidance note on AI. So CBK did a survey to just get to have an understanding on which institutions have AI strategies in place. So you can clearly see banks is just at 29%, microfinance banks is 36%, CRBs none, DCPs 30%. But again, the foundation of any successful AI implementation in an institution requires a robust strategy, integrating data governance, ethical principles, and human oversight. So you can clearly see all these institutions don't have strategies in place, which then shows the success of the implementation of AI, which definitely will be very low. So I think now this is an item that will really come out clearly in the guidance note, requiring institutions to have AI strategies before then considering incorporating AI in their operations. So there's a comment there we're making that institutions with clearly defined AI policies and strategies have shown to be better positioned to harness AI's potential. Also, this one is just from, so we did a survey, it went to the sector, they gave us feedback and we did a report. So this is just an extract from that report on mechanisms that institutions have put in place to support their AI strategies. So data governance framework, access to training and human oversight, implementation of cybersecurity measures, data governance, there's an AI policy, AI governance and accountability committee. So these are just the measures that these institutions are put in place to then support the AI strategy as they seek to leverage on AI to then better provide services to their members and customers. The next one is a proposed roadmap. So this one is also just from a report that we did on what institutions feel should be the best roadmap as you seek to leverage on AI. First, assess current capabilities. So for a start, evaluate the existing technological infrastructure, data management practices, and skill set. It involves understanding the unique challenges and opportunities specific to your institutions and its members. There is no one shoe fits all. You really have to look at your institution and its members, its special needs. Second one would be setting clear goals and objectives. So once the institution has identified areas where AI and analytics can make most impact, set specific. So set the SMART goals that should align with the SACCOs overall mission and strategic objectives. The next step would be developing a comprehensive strategy. So we've talked about the AI strategy in the previous slide. Next step would be building a data-driven culture. Remember we said your AI model will only be as good as the data you give it. So now encourage a mindset within an institution that values data-driven decision making and embraces AI and analytics. Now the last one will be monitoring progress and measuring success. Having clear KPIs to track the success of your AI and analytics initiatives. So this is just a roadmap that financial institutions proposed. So we asked them what do they think should be the best way. So for anyone thinking of adopting AI, what they thought would be the best way of going about this implementation process. So this is what they gave us and we intend to agree with it. So this is the last slide. So the key lessons, just general. As institutions adopt AI, it is necessary. Now this one is for us. It is necessary for regulators. CPK, SASRA. So CPK, SASRA, and all the other financial sector regulators to provide guidance, particularly on best governance and AI governance strategies. So that one is something we've noted. So this is something also we think SASRA really needs to pick up, that we need to really provide that guidance to the sector on how do you then adopt AI. Because AI is here with us. So we have to see how we then innovate, but innovate responsibly. So the foundation of any successful AI implementation in the financial institutions require a robust strategy, integrating data governance, ethical principles, and human oversight. So AI strategy again, featuring largely over there, and also the aspect of consumer protection in the face of innovation must be a key focus. So issues to do with bias, we really need to see, is this innovation really going to negatively impact my members, or is it bettering the services I'm offering to my members? So the critical gaps remain in data quality, governance, and management. So a lot still needs to be done with regards to data sanity checks and data cleanups within our various environments, just to ensure that outputs of these models are then accurate and all these challenges are well taken care of. Last slide is on Q&A, but before you finish, because CEOs are over here, so if you remember very well, this was a very, let's say, very famous, so my former governor used to really like this quote. So his story was, so he went to, I think, Mozambique. Then as they were walking somewhere, he found a very old man planting coconuts. Then he asked the old man, why are you planting a coconut? Okay? And you're very old. This coconut, by the time it's going to give out the fruits, will be long gone. Then the old man told him, even the coconuts I'm eating right now, I'm not the one who planted them. So lesson is that society is at its best when we plant coconuts that we know we'll never eat from. So any questions?
I think they have the capacity to come up with such and such tools and still be able to ensure that Joyce, as she said yesterday, you're not there, that she can leave her pension with the Sacco and it's safe. Thank you.
So for financial sector regulators, so SASRA, CPK, there's a CMA, there's KRA. So we have a joint financial sector regulators forum with representation from all these agencies looking at the financial ecosystem. So periodically, these representatives meet and then get to discuss developments within their areas. So if it's CBK, CBK will give an update of what is happening, what we are doing, the initiatives we're doing. SASRA will come, SASRA will give its input and all that. And also I think in the board of SASRA, I don't know whether the governor is still represented there, but the director of fund supervision. So so the director gives a lot of, when they sit in those board meetings, because he has a view of all that is happening in CBK, he is able to give recommendations on what SASRA can do to then better all these processes. So there's a joint financial sector regulators forum where all these initiatives are discussed, and there's actually a report that is always done annually coming out of these forums. So there's a forum where these initiatives are shared.
Issue of lack of the skills, and this one I believe is a specialized skill in IT. I don't know how we can be able to identify. We have the data, all the information, but just rearranging and structure to give us that capacity was lacking. I don't know how we can leverage on it so that we can be able to get this and get the benefits. Maybe it's a reflection and an issue for us to look at it, how best we can do. And I know from where you sit, getting those specialized skills to do this kind of work in data analytics and AI is quite an investment. And going by what Edward has said, in terms of capacity and the cost of getting such a skill is also an issue. Maybe it's a reflection of our chair, and ourselves look at it and have a common approach. Because going at it individually, one, even identifying the correct skill is an issue. But enhancing the correct skill acquisition is an issue. Maybe that's a rhetoric question for us to look at. Thank you.
Thank you.
With AI, I'm not saying that it is easy. It's not. Especially data analytics, it's not easy. But you must start from somewhere. Yeah? So what we can do is we sit down with management and say we are going to create a roadmap into where we are, where we should start, and what is the end goal after this. Yeah? So you start from a simple chatbot that he was saying, and we already have this. So you start off from one, do you have a website that is up and running? Can you host it on the cloud? That's two. And then the third level of it, then now implement a chatbot into it. So a chatbot, we move from the for you and from where you start or from where you sit. So it can be a monthly billing, it can be an annual billing. Depending on where you're seated, we can always have some of those conversations. Yeah. If a startup has integrated a chatbot or it has integrated a business intelligence tool for data analytics, I believe you can afford it.
But you know, my argument is, even as you're engaging me, I should engage you from a point of knowledge. If I engage you, you have all that service, but I don't have a staff who can engage you from a point of information. So we have to capacitate, even as I'm engaging you, I should have a team of people who can write information as we engage.
As we engage. So in regards to
even as you're resourcing, you want to source what you are able to understand.
Yeah. So in regards to capacity building, and it's something that we see a lot, we are able to sit down and train some of staff. First, if you have one staff that is mandated to do everything, the reason why it's even more important for you to integrate AI within your system is because then you remove that load of some people and you ensure that you're automating things. So that means then you are removing the load off of some people to do other things for you to now get in maybe an extra help or a hand here and there. And then the second thing in regards to capacity, we are a consultant. You can consult us to do that. We have teams that can sit within your premise for some time, depending on what you are doing, for us to ensure that we are doing these integrations from end to end. Yeah? So in regards to capacity building and capacity, there's always a middle ground that we can always figure out. Yeah?
You don't know that, you don't know that, you don't know. No. Yeah. Now that we know, I believe we are better placed and we will be in a better position to lead our teams. Remember, he has cemented what has been discussed throughout this forum since Tuesday, that we are the people responsible. That even huyo askari anaandika namba hapo, hizo vitabu anaandikanga, you are responsible for them even as you are seated here. So even whatever our teams are doing in the office, we are responsible. So what should we do to make sure that we truly are responsible, not just by name? I read a phrase that I'm going to read that he presented to us, that the foundation of any successful AI implementation in an institution requires a robust strategy integrating data governance, ethical principles, and human oversight. Those three things, governance, ethical practices, and human oversight, have appeared in almost every session that we have had in this forum. So thank you very, very much. We are also going to make sure that we plant coconuts, regardless of whether we shall eat them or not. So we really, really appreciate. Planting coconut is not really the tree. It is we go and plant in our SACCOs, in our institutions, practices that will overlive us. Yeah, so that just as we found our institutions, our children and the children of the children and those others will come and still find our institutions standing and very resilient. So we are coming to the end of this program. I want us to appreciate our presenter, Maurice.